All right, welcome back. We are rolling along to through day two. It's been a great day so far, Blake. What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. And, super excited for this one. I know we've had a lot of students really looking forward to it and really excited for the rest of the day as well. We've got amazing speakers on lineup. So,
And how fitting right before lunch, right around lunchtime, we have a Wonder Woman business owner, Liz Rivas of Diva Rivas Desserts. And so we're super excited for her to share what her business does, what life looks like as an entrepreneur, and just all the goodness that she has to share. Welcome, Liz. We are excited to have you.
Thank you.
We want to give you a lot of time today. So I'm just going to hand the baton off to you.
Listen, I have plenty to share, so I can take up all the time we need. But no, thank you, first of all, for having me here. It is honestly an honor. I love doing this kind of stuff, especially for students, just to show them, what all you can do from home. And then just the baking business, being a mom, just being busy all together, and how it just all kind of meshes together, and we got to keep everything going, right? Like you mentioned, my name is Liz Rivas. I have been an entrepreneur and a baker for about 10, 11 years now. It wasn't always a business. It started off as a hobby. And then people started to just seek out, hey, how did you make this? Or how did you make these desserts? And so as, kindness of my heart, I would make these things and just give them to them as gifts. And then, my husband nudged me one day. He's like, hey, you're kind of sitting on something here. Maybe you should start selling these things. I was like, no, I can't sell this. These are people that I know. And I started to get more and more inquiries, and more word of mouth started to go out. So I started to figure out how to make these things and make a profit out of this. And so I am not much of a cook, I'll be honest, but I love to bake and I love to create. And I have I can proudly say that I have a very, very creative side, that I've tried different avenues, even with makeup, with clothing, try to figure out how I can get all these creative things to come together, but it worked out in the sweetest way possible. No pun intended. Here I am. I work out of my home. I have a website. I have a page where people can go in there and, submit order inquiry. There's an order form. There's a gallery. Pretty straightforward, basic pricing. I am a one woman show. That's why there only is one Diva, Rivas. So I do, all the order taking, all the baking. I don't deliver at the moment, but I do have a delivery service that is optional. So it's just pretty much everything from invoicing to figuring out overhead, products, supplies. Obviously right now with the price of eggs too, it's something that I had to figure out and incorporate that into my cost, and how to try. It has to be passed on at some point, but just to keep it still budget friendly for everyone, obviously. But yeah, like I said, I've been making cookies. I do cakes. It's always been a dream of mine to, like I mentioned, is have this creative outlet and figure out how I can put it together and share it. And, someone mentioned to me one day, they said, that when you deliver your goods, or someone comes to pick them up, they're celebrating something. And that, I was like, oh my God, that is, for me to be able to be a part of someone's celebration. You order a cake, it's for a celebration. You order, cookies or whatever it is, you're celebrating something. And when I see the look on people's faces when they pick up these items from me, it really, really fills my heart, because I know it's part of a celebration. So, like I mentioned, let me just go through my notes here. Another reason why too it's important is because not only is baking, fun, it's also science and art. Measuring all the ingredients and stuff like that. It's fun. You can experiment, you can add, you can take away and make things your own. So that's also something that I had to also learn and figure out how these things would incorporate and work for my business. I've taken a few classes here and there just to learn some techniques, but a lot of it has been self-taught. 10 years ago, we didn't have all the technology that we have now. So it's come a long way. There's a lot of shortcuts that you can find now on the internet to, how to make cake pops, how to make cakes and stuff like that, where I had to figure these things out on my own. So I was like, wow, okay, this is pretty cool. And so Let's see. Yep, running a business means also, taking orders, packaging, talking to customers. So it includes a lot. And it is a lot of work. I have, 2 young girls and 2 adult children. So to keep it all, and I'm a grandmother of 2 little ones. So it's, they always expect these elaborate treats and cakes and desserts for their birthdays, which I'm happy to make for them. And let's see, what else? I've had a couple appearances on Telemundo and Exceso Total. That has been definitely fun and exciting. Social media has been a huge part of having my business grow, and the reputation and how reputable my business is, by being recognized on, national television. And just recently, too, I was featured in a Hallmark episode, a couple of Hallmark episodes, which that was very, very fun and exciting, too. But yeah, I guess in a nutshell, that's pretty much what I can share at the moment. Like I said, I do have a presentation that will give you a little bit more visual of what I've done. Is that okay to start that?
We would love for you to share. Yep. Feel free to share.
Okay.
Yep.
Do I hit share screen here on mine?
You can, yes. If you click share screen, a little window should pop up and you'll click share your screen, or I can share it as well. Let me know.
Screen, let's see. I'm gonna click use this one, career. Okay, do you mind clicking share screen, because I'm about to hit play? It's easier, I think, this way for me.
You would like me to share it?
If that's okay, yes, please.
Yeah, no, I don't mind at all. Here, just make the window a little bigger.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Oh, it's our question. All right, are you able to see that okay? Thumbs up?
Let's see. I can't see you guys. Let me know if you guys can see my screen. Are you able to see my screen?
I can't see your screen, but I'm sharing. Did you want to share it, or would you like me to share it?
Oh, okay, let me see. Let me hit share screen. Let's see. Share.
So if I stop sharing, you should be able to see it, or I can share it. I have it up right now.
Okay. Yeah, let's see. You do have it up, and I'm clicking this link here. See, here we go. Let's see if I hit. You cannot share screen while other participant is sharing. Okay, do you mind undoing yours? I'm so sorry.
No worries. No worries. All right, there we go.
So let's see. Let me share mine. Share. Okay, and then it is a Chrome tab. Okay. All right. Are you able to see it?
Nope.
No. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Here it is. Here it is. Here it is. Okay. Sorry about that. Okay. Share. Perfect.
There we go. All right. Okay, we got
perfect. It. Takes a little bit of time, but yeah. Okay. So it's just like a quick slideshow. I'll kind of go through it and kind of read briefly through it. An introduction, to Diva Rivas company. An overview of my business. Was established in 2019. I specialize in custom desserts, particularly sugar cookies and other sweet treats. And in the photo, it shows a platter that I made for Telemundo for one of their shows. So that was exciting that I was invited to do that. Owner Elizabeth Rivas. I'm a passionate entrepreneur, baker, which founded Diva Rivas Dessert Company with the vision of creating personalized desserts. My creativity and expertise has significantly contributed to my company's rapid growth and community engagement. And then there's also a couple photos here of some cakes that I have made. And let's see. I'm located in La Puente, California. And again, I specialize in crafted cookies and treats and milestones. And then here's some apples that I did for Teacher Appreciation Day, which were really special. Some cookies down here. I know that one's hard to see. And then another dessert box. These are some of my favorite treats that I've made. So I chose the most vibrant photos that I could see. And then these are some of my offerings. Like I mentioned, sugar cookies. This is something new that I started doing about 6 years ago. And these are some of the cookies that I've made. And like I said, there's not one cookie that is going to look the same. So this is why I love what I do, because everything that I make is different. Every order is different. Every order is customized, and I think that brings a personal touch to every occasion. Cake pops. I also do cake pops. I make all of these by hand. You see a little. What is this guy's name? The little green guy. I'm drawing a blank. Star Wars. The little star. Oh, Yoda. There we go. Yoda. There's some unicorn cookies. I'm a baseball lover, so of course we have some baseballs here. And this is pretty much cake on a stick, but it's fun because you can just create it and make it and mold it into different shapes. Excuse my birds there. Also some dip treats. I offer gourmet strawberries, cookies, and caramel apples. Here you'll see a Harry Potter caramel apple. It's all edible. And so I create, all sorts of things. If you bring me an idea, I will definitely try to bring it to life in the best way possible. And not only pretty, but it's also delicious to eat. So some strawberry towers and donut towers. These are really fun. This is a strawberry tower filled. I believe it has about 80 chocolate covered strawberries with roses. Here's a fun donut tower with some marshmallows and just, really, really cute decoration that they had for someone's birthday party. And here's another strawberry tower. These are pretty popular and definitely make a statement piece when you walk into any celebration. Let's see. Here's some of my media. Here's a quick clip of me on Exceso Total. I can play it if you like, or we can kind of just skip through it. I just think it's a really, really, really fun piece. I'll play a short piece of it so that you guys can see that.
Oye, Elba, ya se acerca el día de San Valentín y estamos, ¿qué podemos regalar? ¿Cómo consentir a la pareja, a la familia?
Queremos que nos regalen.
Exactamente, por eso el día de hoy nos acompaña Liz Rivas de Diva Rivas Dessert para darnos las mejores ideas.
Hola,
¿Cómo estás, Liz?
¿Ustedes?
Vente
Bien.
para acá en medio, pásale lo barrido.
Okay, oye, listísimas para que nos des algunas ideas, porque estos son detalles deliciosos.
Gracias.
Se ve todo riquísimo, Liz.
Gracias.
A ver, explícanos un poquito cómo. A ver, cuéntanos, ¿qué tenemos aquí en la mesa?
Tenemos un poquito de todo. Si le quieren regalar algo a su ser querido, a su esposo, a su esposa, tenemos al amor. Tenemos un arreglo de rosas con fresas con chocolate, también para su Valentine, para su mejor amiga, algo un poquito rosita.
Recordemos que es el día del amor y la amistad.
Exactamente.
So yeah, that's just a quick video that I like to share let's see there. It's going to keep going back there. Okay. And then this is also one of the most recent ones. Huge Dodger fan. As we know, they won the World Series. So I was super excited to be invited by Telemundo and feature some of my desserts on their morning show the day of the World Series, one of the World Series games. So this was very, very exciting for me, something that I'm very, very proud of. And then also just the key to success is to believe and dream bigger. I've always taught hands-on classes, but here I got an opportunity to make and teach an online cookie class. So that expands, how I can teach people. I also teach, I should have mentioned that, I'm so sorry. It also expands how far I can reach people. Not only in person do I teach, but I also like to teach them. I'm able to teach them online. So this was a very, very exciting opportunity that I had as well. And this was where we were just recording clips and snippets of, me in the kitchen, baking, making the dough, etc. So it's very, very fun. And it's very, it's awesome, the impact of social media. And that's really important. Again, so here's just, I guess, just some final notes. It's a picture of my family and my girls. My girls made a cake down here, but, encouragement for aspiring entrepreneurs. You can draw inspiration literally from anywhere, including through a pandemic, because that's honestly when my business started to kick off. I started to make individual cookie sets, and people would just do a drive-by, pick them up, and I would sell them, and it kept them busy at home with the kids because we were locked down, the world was shut down. So that was honestly one of the best times, and I can see the potential that I can have and how I can reach other people. So you must be willing to learn, grow, and change. Be yourself, be creative, and be brave. And it gets me emotional because I'm really, really proud of how far I've come, to be honest with you.
That is awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. Of course, it's emotional. It's a labor of love. So thank you for sharing your labor of love with us.
Thank you.
We do have some questions. We have one question. It looks like a fun question. Is there an opportunity for taste testing interns? I love it.
Listen, if I was in person, I have all the goodies for you.
Awesome, love it. I have a question. So we have a lot of creative students, and some of these students, the traditional college career path, where they're sitting in a cubicle, is just, that's not what they feel called to. They feel called to entering the creative space. Right. What advice? So a lot of times there's that fear factor of like, oh, I'm going to take a step. There's, taking a step into the unknown. What would you say, I guess, to your high school self or these high school students who are anticipating a step like that?
The biggest tip that I can give you, and I still encounter this until this day, and I hear, me telling my younger self, the fear is stopping you. You are in your own way. You are never going to know unless you do it and unless you try. And whatever success you get out of it, even if we do fail, because I failed. I've tried to make some things and I failed, but I always learned something from that. Whether it was to, continue to pursue it, whether it was to create something that just didn't turn out the way I wanted it to turn out, I took something from that. And, now the older, I literally pep talk myself. I was never the person to just like be in a cubicle and, explore that route. And again, just because I was kind of all over the place, but always give it a try, always do your best, and don't let the fear stop you. That is literally, you'll regret it. Once you get to my age, you'll be like, darn, I should have tried, or I should have done this. You know what I mean? So there's always something that you can learn from it. Yeah.
I love that. Don't let the fear stop you. I feel like that needs to be on a bumper sticker, on a t-shirt. Like, don't let the fear stop you. Blake, did you want to go ahead and take the next question? I see where some questions are coming in.
Yeah, we got quite a few popping up in our chat. So one of the questions is, what was the hardest thing for you to learn how to make?
The hardest thing, I would probably say creating these sugar cookies. It takes, I'll kind of hold one up. You guys can probably, the students can probably recognize the design. I really have to figure out the size that I have to make it, which color goes in first. So it's a cute cookie, but other than it being a cute cookie, you have to stop and analyze it and look at it and figure out which colors go in first, let it dry. So not necessarily that it's hard, excuse me, but when people just see the cookie, it's a cute cookie. But everything that went into creating just one single cookie, everything, all the thinking, all the math, I have to weigh everything. It's not hard per se, but it is all something that has to come put together, because I not only make cookies, I make cake pops, I make cakes. I make the towers. You've seen a little bit of everything that I make. So I think just keeping everything as simple as possible to not make it harder for me, and whatever works, keep it, if it's not broken, don't fix it. Pretty much just kind of leave it how it's working for you. And if you can tweak it a little bit here and there, well, definitely, but yeah.
Love it. Thank you so much. Jonathan, do you want to ask the next one?
Yeah, so we, as students, asking, do you find it easier or harder to balance work and family life while working from home?
I will be honest, it is still difficult. It's a challenge. That is my biggest challenge, is the balance. It is. If I have a busy weekend, last weekend was a super busy weekend. So I literally started working from Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And then we had Dodger games. So we had to pause there. And then we had Friday. So I have to pick up the girls, and then I'm baking. And so, I have to time everything. It is, time management is something that I still need to get better at. I've done good, but I need to get better at. So it is definitely still a struggle and a challenge. But you keep pushing. If there weren't struggles and challenges, everything would just be too easy.
Right. And then we also have, how much advance notice is needed to make an order? So if you have an
That's
order,
one of my favorite questions. I'm typically open. Holidays are probably the busiest, so I try not to take too many orders around the holidays, just because I tend to have a big sale. But maybe a week in advance would be good.
okay. And does it also depend on the size? Like if you're doing a large wedding with 100 people?
Definitely, yes. So it also depends on what my current work week looks like and what that schedule is, and then depending on the size of the order and then what is being ordered and what's needed, then I can accommodate accordingly for sure.
Okay, all right. And then moving along, would you like to tackle the next one, Blake?
Yeah, so we have another student question. What is your favorite thing to make?
Oh, that's a good question. My favorite thing to make, I think right now, is the sugar cookies. Everything is different about it. You get to make and create. Not every order, like I mentioned earlier, not every order is the same. These are also cake pops, so these were really fun to make, and little cute, creatures. So these are fun. When I'm able, typically you see like the cake pops at Starbucks. It's just a round cake pop. They're good, they're cute, but when I can make them into little characters, I think it's adorable. It's just fun because I get super excited. I'm like, oh, I get to make something that we've never seen, and it's edible and it's cute. So yeah, I think cake pops and cookies would be the thing that I enjoy the most.
I was just thinking of my kids. They would go nuts over that little cake pop right now.
Yes.
They would be going berserk. So, all right. And then what's been a big or your biggest challenge in running a bakery?
The biggest challenge, I would probably say, is to try to keep the cost low, to try to keep it budget friendly, with also trying to make a profit. Again, with price, ingredients and everything fluctuates. So that's something that I've had to also keep in mind and figure out. And I don't want to be too expensive. Obviously, everything is handmade. I like to call my stuff artisanal because it's all handmade, but it is. I want to try to keep the price low, to keep people, to have people come back, and continue to celebrate their celebrations, and obviously to support my business too, which I appreciate.
Liz, I don't know if I missed it. This is a question I have. Do you have a commercial kitchen, or you do this from your home kitchen, or are there any plans to open up a brick and mortar shop?
That is a great question. I do get asked that a lot. I work out of my home, so I don't have any special equipment. I think customers have turned into friends, so people can come over, and I invite people over, and we'll have barbecues and stuff like that. And so when they come in, I don't have a very big kitchen. It's a decent size, but when people come in and they see, and I turn this way because this is where it is, but when they see my kitchen, they're like, that's where you make everything. That's what makes everything. And so that's another thing too. You don't need all the fancy equipment and everything to start. And that's what I thought I needed. I'm like, I need this and I need that. And, just financially, I wasn't able to do that starting off. I have upgraded my microwave. We're going to upgrade my stove soon. I've upgraded the refrigerator. We also have a freezer out in the back, so I'm able to store stuff. And the brick and mortar part, I go back and forth with it. I like being home. I like the flexibility of having the luxury to be able to go pick up my children, come back home, and run some errands. Whereas if I have a store, I don't mind hiring people, but that's a fear. That is a fear of mine, where I'm like, am I going to be able to balance it? Am I going to be able to afford it? How many treats do I have to make? How many cakes do I have to sell to keep everything afloat? So that is definitely a fear of mine. But I don't think I foresee that in the future. I asked my husband to build me a little she shed, so that's probably what I'm gonna lean towards.
Blake, would you take the last two?
Yeah, I do have actually one other question in here as well, just for because we have some really good, couple good questions in the question Q&A. But I just want to ask just quickly for students who are like, this is really interesting to them, they want to pursue a career or in baking. What would you recommend? Like, what's a good way for them to kind of get started? Like, their foot in the door. Like, what's a good way to get that first opportunity to start building some of this experience for them?
I would say definitely brush up on your baking skills. Tweak some recipes. If you buy stuff at the store that's just a boxed item, there's ways that you can tweak those recipes, make them your own. Sometimes I add sour cream to my cakes, or sometimes people omit different types of milk for allergies or whatnot. Just try to stand out, try to be different, always be yourself, be honest. And yeah, I would say just to try to make things yours. You know what I mean? Let's not be like the same copycat. Obviously, you pull inspiration. That's great, but always try to make things yours and offer them maybe, for holidays, for, Christmas, for, Valentine's Day. You can make little cookie kits if you want to do cookies and give them out and give your business card out so that it's always, I think that's the best form of advertising is word of mouth. When you give something away, teacher appreciation, things like that, where you put your business out there. Social media is great, but there's nothing like being face to face with people, talking to them, and just making those personal connections. So definitely connections.
I love it. Thank you so much. All right, so a couple of those other questions were, what are some common misconceptions people might have about working in a bakery?
Common misconceptions is that it's always fun. You're always just making stuff. You're like, no, somebody has to wash the dishes. Somebody has to run out for more ingredients, or someone, the recipe doesn't always go as planned, or, I have piping bags and it'll just burst and it was 2 a.m. and I ran out and I didn't have any more. So you're just like, it's not always perfect. Everything is, there's going to be mishaps that are going to happen. And, I've burned myself and things like that. So just roll with it and clean it up and keep moving. So I think that everything looks pretty. So you're like, oh my God, this is so fun. So it's not always going to be, unicorns and rainbows for sure.
I love it. Thank you so much. And then our last question, a bit of a two-parter. What role has technology played in your business development, and how do you continue to learn your craft?
Technology has played a huge role in my business because, like I mentioned, this was 11 years ago, excuse me, where, I wasn't too tech savvy. We didn't really have a lot of this social media advertising. So that has been significant in the growth in my business. You share, you tag, you do all these things. I'm able to have, a website. I know which websites were available 10 years ago, but this is also something I've had to learn. I'm like, how do I start a website? Where do I start? You start Googling and you get you just get overwhelmed with, millions and millions of pages. And so, which ones are reputable, which ones you can trust, which ones are going to be, budget friendly, because they can get expensive also. So there's a lot that you have to learn. And I'm sorry, what was the second part of the question?
That's a great question.
Sorry.
Removed it. No, you're good. Removed it. I don't just want to, let me see if I can find it. We had a lot of questions, so where did it go? Oh, how do you continue to learn your craft? So, like, how does that evolve kind of over time?
I do surround myself with like-minded people. I admire, bakers that have been on television. I admire people that, have a career. That's what I aspire to be. I've rubbed elbows with, some of these famous bakers. I've been invited to conventions and stuff like that. So, like I said, just being in a room full of positive people, or people that do similar things that you do, is very, very inspirational and motivational for me. So that's something that I'm like, oh, they're going to have, they have such a thing as CookieCon. And it's a huge convention with just cookies. You can imagine it is heaven on earth. I've yet been able to attend one because it does get pretty expensive. I attended a local one a couple years ago, but man, if I could be at one of these cookie conventions every weekend, and they show you all the equipment and the new stuff that comes out, and just how to facilitate, your business, and how to roll out cookies where you don't have to do them manually. There's a machine that could roll it out for you. I'm like, oh, okay, I want that machine. It's exciting. There's always something new, and there's always things that are evolving. So
awesome. Thank you so much.
Love it. We actually had from one of our panelists one question pop up, just say or comment / question. your girls are so lucky. How often do they eat or touch your orders? Do they help you?
That is a great question. When I first started, they wanted to eat everything. Now they don't even flinch. They're just like, oh, mommy's making cookies. Mom. I think they're over it. Everybody in this household is over it. If I make a cake, unless it's chocolate, then they'll fight for it. But I get a lot of vanilla orders, so that's the typical, that's the basic. But they'll just come and look at it. Oh, that's cute. And I have, if you can see, I have a rack here, and it has the cover. So they already know. They don't touch it. They don't come near here. There's another bigger rack, and they're pretty good. Yeah.
As another side question, do you ship, Liz? Do you ship like your cookies or your baked goods, or is it just mainly local?
It's mainly local. I have tried the shipping route, but with cookies, they're just so fragile. I have tried to package them in every which way you can think of, and unfortunately, once things leave my hands, I don't have any control on how the mail carriers or UPS handle them. I've seen them sometimes kick a box, and I'm like, oh, what if those were my cookies? And so I would hate for someone just to receive a box full of broken stuff. So.
Thank you so much. One last question. We often have students who they're not able to make it to these live sessions because they have other obligations. Would it be okay if we compile a list of questions? If maybe 10 students had questions and they're interested in this field, would we be able to maybe reach out and
definitely I would love that. Definitely. Yeah, I listen, they could ask all the questions. I would love that. Definitely. Like I said, I do a lot of hands-on in-person classes, so that's my jam. Like, listen, anything that I can answer and talk to you guys and show you, and I do have some stuff here to show you how to decorate and stuff if we have the time, and if you guys would like to see that, I can kind of pan the video down and show you guys.
I think we'd be able to. We have some time.
We have some time.
Okay. Sure. Yeah.
So like I showed you guys earlier, this is, where's the camera? There it is. And I just came up with these yesterday. I had never made this one before. So this is the first time that I made a cake pop, and it's completely edible. So that's a cute little cake pop. And I also made the caramel apple. That's a caramel apple. Wait, where is it? I make bunny ones too for Easter. So I'm actually prepping for all of my Easter sales. So I have to make samples for just to post and to advertise. So that's what I'm working on right now, which was perfect timing. So I think we can start with this one. This is obviously the plain one. This is what it looks like baked, and then this is kind of what it looks like. Wait, I keep going the wrong way. Once it's decorated. So let me just pan this down, and let's see. Can you guys see that they're kind of, let's see.
Yep.
There, okay. And then I have, yeah, perfect. I have the icing here. These are the icings. I have two different bags because there's two different consistency. This is considered a thicker consistency because this is what we're going to do the outline with. So that serves as a dam to hold the flood consistency. This is a much runnier consistency. If I were to outline just with the flood, it would just literally overflow on the cookie, and it's not going to look nice and pretty. And that's not what we want. We want to have a cute little cookie. So I started working on these last night. And so I'll show you how I just kind of outlined the cookie. And sometimes I do use a projector to help me with some of these images. If the design is a little more complicated, or it has a lot of lines or circles, or if it's a character face, I do use a projector to help me determine where all the lines go. And this is therapeutic for me. I could sit here all day and just mix colors and decorate. We're going to bring this down a little more. I have the pink one here. We're going to kind of try to do the pink of the ears. Oh, wait, it's stuffed up here. And like I said, this is just a design that I saw and found online, but you can make these and, make them your own, create it however you like. And this is also one of the treats that I'll be offering for Easter. I'll be making little Easter kits with just some plain cookies, a couple of bags of icing, and they're going to be Easter egg cookies. See how this consistency is much runnier? So that's the flood consistency. And we typically want to wait for this to dry so that there can be some dimension. Otherwise, it just kind of blends into each other. But for time's sake, I'm going to go ahead and just flood it now. And do you see how much runnier this one is? You kind of just outline it. And when I teach my cookie classes, all of my students look at the cookies. I can't do that. And once they come out of class and they see all their cookies, they're like, oh my goodness. I'm like, yep, you did that. You made that cookie. You decorated it. So it's always really rewarding and satisfying to see all my students say, I did it. I made that cute cookie. But yeah, that's pretty much, like I said, another fun part of it too is creating all the colors, mixing. My girls do help me with creating colors and mixing, and they like to taste test because the icing is really sweet. So I'm like, hey, I need that. And yeah, once we ice this whole cookie, then we'll kind of just let it sit. I do have a small fan that I sit it in front of. Kind of just tap away. And so it'll eventually end up looking like this. We're going to let it sit so that it can dry. You could add all the details, but yeah, my girls do love decorating the cookies. They do like doing that. This is cake pop dough, which is just mashed up cake. And bake the cake, kind of just roll these up to make a cake pop. So there we just have a perfect little circle, or a perfect little round ball, I should say. I have some melted chocolate here. Colored this one pink. And then we just dip our stick. This is going to serve as the glue. So we just kind of put it here, give it a little twist, and then this is our cake pop. I do like to wait a few minutes just so that the cake can adhere perfectly to the cake pop. But again, just for time's sake, we're going to just dip it in here. And then here you could add sprinkles, you can add details. I mean, you could leave it plain. And there you go. Cute little cake pop.
Love it. Thank you so much.
Of course,
this is awesome. I know you have a busy schedule running a business, and well, team, this is another Wonder Woman. We have Dr. Vasquez on our team, but you're a Wonder Woman as well. So thank you so much for sharing your gift with us and taking the time. And I know that students will be super excited. I'm already thinking of like my creatives out there and how those entrepreneur students they're just going to absolutely love this. So thank you.
I love it. Listen, if you guys need me to come out there and just show you guys a quick demo, I would love to do that. You know what I mean? On some extra time that you guys have, let me know. I can go out there and show you guys.
I love that. And then just on that note, we're going to be jumping into lunchtime on that note, right? So, so from 12 to 12:30, we'll have lunch. And then actually from 12 to 1, we'll have lunch. And then to our student listeners, 1 o'clock, we'll have another presentation. It will be kind of a replay recorded session on the hair industry. So cosmetology, the hair industry. Our speaker had a last minute conflict or obligation, but he was willing to record and share with our students. So we will see you all shortly. And thank you again to Liz. Thank you again to our listeners. And we will see you back at 1 o'clock. Have a wonderful day, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you so much, guys.